Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful weekend. My name is Adrian from Adrian K, Gledhill, and today myself and Allie are going to get together and chit chat with you guys. If you have any questions for us, please put QQQ in front of them or question. We will try to grab them. Go ahead, take it away, Allie.
Hey everybody, it's Allie from Fit Flavor Fun. Hey, we've already got people in the chat. Barbie and Rachel and Val. Hey everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Well,
I
thank
love
you,
when the
everyone,
little
for
chat
coming.
bubbles pop up. It's like they keep popping up. Look, Debbie, Diane. Yay!
If you want, do you want to give a quick intro again, just in case anybody missed our last live of who you are, and I'll do the same?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Allie. I was diagnosed as a type 2 diabetic about 14 months ago. And since then, I've been taking Manjaro and compound tirzepatide, and I've lost 114 pounds. I have a positive only support group where we get up to lots of shenanery and fun. And yeah, that's me. Ready, go.
I love your support group, except you guys kicked me out. I broke the
Yes.
rules. I totally
Yeah.
deserved it. Just full disclosure. I did not read the rules. It specifically said no propagating diets. It called it a fad diet, but I'm just going to go with diet. And I was like,
Yeah.
hey, I was probably to someone, have you heard of carnivore? So, anyway, I'm back
Okay.
in
We still love
because
you.
I am a super positive person and I don't think everybody needs to go carnivore. Anyway, my name is Adrian. I've struggled with obesity and autoimmune conditions my whole entire life. And I've tried everything to battle it, from being on season 3 of The Biggest Loser to having gastric bypass to going keto, carnivore, whole foods, Atkins, running marathons. And it wasn't until I combined eating a lot of meat with a GLP-1 that I am gonna say I'm pretty much at goal.
Which is phenomenal. Love that.
It's crazy to even say that out loud. Can I just say, um, this is the first year of my entire life where my New Year's resolution has nothing to do with the scale. This year, my goal is to get control over my sleep. I just
Ooh.
started working with a new practitioner, and we are working on zoning down why I can't sleep or get good sleep. I sleep, but it's horrible. So,
Oh,
do you
that's
have any victories? Did I see you lost 115 now?
14. No,
14? Not
114.
yet.
Yeah. It's slow going now. After you get under that 200-pound mark, it really slows down. But I love that you said that about New Year's resolutions, and it's not, weight related, because this is the first year of my life that I have done the same. And it was so weird because it's like we start getting close to the first and everybody's like, what's your New Year's resolution? What's you do? I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I want to do this. And I was like, I don't know. What do I do now? So I made goals about reading more books and doing things that make me happy and focusing on self-care. I've been making myself go to the doctor, which I'm not good at all. Years of being morbidly obese and not being heard gave me a lot of medical anxiety. So I'm not good at that, but so far I'm doing great. I've gone to all of my doctors except one, and we're only just coming up on April. So I feel like that's a huge accomplishment, because normally I put it off, or I don't go at all. My dentist was like, "Who are you? Do we know? Have you been here before?" I was like, "You're joking, right? It clearly says in the chart that I've been a patient here." Yeah, but we haven't seen you in a while. Who are you? Anyway, it was funny.
That's so interesting. We actually have commercial insurance. Usually we have, my husband's usually a contractor, so that type of insurance is like, just give us all your money and we're not going to cover anything either. So we try to avoid the doctor due to having no coverage at all.
Right.
But we actually have actual insurance right now. So it was on my list as well to see actual physicians. And I've been out of the system so long that they're making me jump through all kinds of hoops and I don't like it. But I
Mm,
did see an act I've been seeing more like the functional doctors that you pay cash for.
okay.
Totally separate system. They don't recognize that system, So they want me
Right.
to establish primary care and get referrals and yeah, some of this healthcare stuff could be a full-time job.
Yes. Yeah, but that's awesome that you're going to a functional specialist. I mean, that's like gold. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm actually seeing like two.
Nice.
So I see one, and I got to tell you, this just really popped up on my screen. On my, let's call it for you YouTube, when you go to your home screen, and it popped up yours when you were ranting about people who were like inflammation and detoxing, and I was like, oh
One of
my
my
gosh.
ranty rants.
And I was like, I actually had commented, which I went and deleted because it was like, do you know what SIRS is? That's a real thing. Anyway, one of my conditions is chronic inflammation. If you want to call it chronic inflammatory response syndrome, if you want to call it chronic fatigue, if you can call it all kinds of things because it manifests in different ways. But part of the reason that GLP-1 has been God sent is because I was doing all the functional things they were telling me to do, spending the thousands of dollars taking supplements 10 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until I added a GLP-1 that my inflammation went down.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. I have learned a lot more about inflammation and inflammatory condition thanks to you. So, yeah,
Oh,
so since I know that was an older video that you were referencing, and I've really learned a lot. I also have a few followers that have similar but not the same conditions, and they were so sweet and commented and put links to so I could go read like about these conditions. And I love when people do that because it allows me to kind of open up the scope, right? I mean, I was specifically referring to like people trying to sell you stuff in that video, but it's so interesting to me that we have such a wide range of conditions, diseases, side effects, all sorts of things that these GLP-1s are helping with. Hey, Lewis, are you eating a steak right now?
I don't know if we're allowed to say this, but I think Lewis is entering the next phase of his experiment. Are we allowed to say, Lewis? You let us know. Which is very
Now I
exciting.
want to know. Now everybody's like, who's Lewis and why what's happening? Now we want to
The
know.
most amazing guy ever.
Right.
It was interesting. I was just going back because I wanted to find a video I made like a year ago, and I found two different posts where I shared anti-Ozempic videos. So I think we
Wow.
all just keep learning what we can. We only know what
Yes.
we know, and I will be the first to admit that sometimes I don't know, and I'm not right all the time. But it's great that we can keep learning. Okay, so Lewis went on Zepbound. No, no, no. Which Manjaro? Manjaro. He went on Manjaro. Let's say January 2024, 2023. I'm not going to get the details perfect, okay? But
It's
he
okay.
goes on it and he decides quickly as he goes on it because he has the type 2 diabetes. How do you say it?
Yeah, the diabetes.
The diabetes. He's got
Yes.
the type 2 diabetes. And he decides, like, I'm going to attack this. And so he also starts kind of a carnivore diet. It's called the Proper Human Diet by Dr. Ken Berry. And he starts fasting and doing all the things and he loses 100 pounds. But back then, it wasn't as much talked about that you can stay on doses longer.
Yes.
And even
Mhm.
today, there are doctors who are forcing people up on doses. So he did end up topping out and stalling out. And so he decided, I don't know if he just went off cold turkey or what, but he decided he was going to try without to see how his diabetes did. And he did. And he's been doing that for 6 months. He's been fasting and eating super, super clean and just trying to hammer away at this diabetes. And
Yes.
he decided that although all that work is maybe doing some things that are very helpful, he feels better on
Yay.
Manjaro. So he is, as of I think this Friday, going to add, and he's going to start with 1 milligram. So he's going to try to go up slower this time to extend it out. So I'm
Great.
really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, me too. Lewis, keep us posted because first of all, I'm always interested when people have the diabetes and they come off and go back on their medication. I'm always interested to see, because everybody's an individual, and so there's various things that happen. Oh, good. He said he will keep us posted. But yeah, I'm very interested to see how that goes. And I'd also love to know how it goes if you are still in the process of losing weight, if you find, just to get your feedback the second time around. Because I have like a little research journal and I'm keeping track of stuff like that.
I
So
don't know if he's mentioned any weight regain, but damn, he looks good.
excellent.
Am I allowed to say that as a married woman? That's terrible. Oh,
Yes.
but he is looking good. And
It's
he's a
totally
very,
fine.
very nice guy. And part of the reason Lewis and I bonded is because we were straddling two worlds, both him and I. We both really enjoy our lifestyle changes. It's not for everyone, but we really enjoy it. And
Mhm.
we also really enjoy GLP-1s. And the two communities don't seem to like each other, but I think it's getting better.
Good.
At least
Well,
on our side, at least on this side, it's starting to get better. There was a huge video that posted yesterday by Kelly Hogan. We refer to her as the carnivore queen, and she interviewed Dr. Boz. Let's call her the keto queen with Maria Emmerich. Those two are the keto queens, and they discussed GLP-1s, the experience that they have had with it, with working with patients, with working with family. It's a really good video. Go check it out, everyone.
yeah, it's linked in her group, by the way. She posted the link.
Did you see it?
I saw the link, but I haven't had a chance to go
You
watch the
probably
video.
weren't starstruck like the rest of us.
No, but I do know those names, and so I was like, "Oh, yeah, I gotta put this on my list of things to do." It's hard for me to get to videos over the weekend. It's challenging. Um, but we got a question a little bit further up the list from Debbie. Yes, there we go. Okay, not sure I should ask this, but curious. All questions are welcome. Why are research peptide companies not targeted by big pharma? They are. Is it just because of their size that they aren't a threat? So, Adrian, if it's okay with you, I would love to answer
You
this one.
start. Go
O-
ahead.
Okay, so why aren't they targeted? They are. So I have a few research peptide companies that I have been watching from the beginning. Um, both from a research standpoint and from a I want to see how this pans out for them, because I had this exact same question when I first started out. I was like, well, why doesn't everybody just do research grade, right? Because when you start out, you're like, what is that? So they are being targeted by big pharma. The way big pharma attacks the research peptide group is by attacking their credit card processing. If I could talk, that would be great. So what they do is they get their credit card processing shut down. And then it makes it more difficult, right? And then people are not willing to use other payment methods, right? Because that seems shady. And so that's how they get them. It's essentially it's a lot easier to get them shut down. The other thing that research peptide people have done is change the name of all of their
Mhm.
products. So instead of semaglutide, it'll say GLP-1. Instead of tirzepatide, it'll say GLP-2, right? So they've gotten rid of that name, and essentially you have to be in the know to know which one is which, right? So that you can place an order. But they absolutely do get attacked. I think the main focus is compound right now, as far as getting things shut down, right? Because that's where most of the money is. So
I think you
great
handled
question.
it perfectly. I think they're going to go after them harder once they've completed their mission of ending compounding.
There you go. Yeah, they're just the smaller fish in the pond right now. But
Because it's literally like this much of the, it's like the people who trust research are very, I think it's very small.
right. Great
Um,
question, Debbie.
I wanted to say we have some celebrities in the house.
Hey, love
We got
them.
Lorraine
Woo
and
woo.
love you guys. That's awesome
Yeah.
that you're here. Of course, we have many other people. Kathy, love you.
Hey,
And
Kathy.
I don't know how you'd say this. Sup Yonor?
I don't know,
I
but
don't know.
she's got the Snow White image up there that was pretty cool looking.
Okay, so I'll take this one. How do I know if I have chronic inflammation?
That's
This
easy.
is a very interesting question. You can actually take, and now I'm blanking on what it's called, a VCS test, visual contrast test. And you can find them for free, but usually it's like $10 and you can take it online. You have to be a certain distance away from your screen. And basically, if your brain is inflamed, you're going to have a difficult time seeing the wavy lines. And there's like, I don't know, 100 different pictures. And so some of them you'll be like, of course I see that. And then some will be like, so if you can't pass this VCS test, it's likely you have brain inflammation. And if you have brain inflammation, you likely have chronic inflammation. You can go to a website called, and don't kill the messenger. It's called survivingmold.com. I don't like that word mold because chronic inflammation can be triggered by viruses, the blue-green algae, getting tick bites, so many things. Building material. Chronic inflammation can be triggered by being in an abusive relationship. There's so many things that can trigger this chronic inflammation, but basically your body gets so inflamed that it doesn't know how to shut it off. And because you're so inflamed, your hormones stop signaling properly and it turns into autoimmune disease. And so, just about every autoimmune condition, the root is inflammation. So, if we can get that inflammation down, we can relax the body, we can have better hormone signaling, we can just feel a lot better. I'm in a group of people, thousands of people who are trying to get to the bottom of theirs. And I'm going to tell you, it's real tough. And it's very individual. What might be working for someone else isn't going to work for someone else and someone else and someone else. And getting to the root of what your inflammation is can be tough. What was really interesting though, I had a neuroquant done, which is an MRI of my brain. And I was actually able to see that my parahippocampus, which is a memory gland, is like 90% atrophied, which is a signification of early onset dementia. Not today, but like, let's get on this. It's really important to me. If you ever hear me talking about fasting, it is truly not going to be for weight loss at this point. It would be for hoping to heal my brain. But it's all interesting, and you will never hear. I brought my labs to my new standard doctor, and she was like, "Oh, no, no,
Oh no, she froze up a little bit. Adrian, come back.
it's me. I'm here. I'm
Okay,
here."
good.
I work with a doctor, Dr. Alan Grunning. He's in Fort Myers, Florida, and he has an amazing practice. I highly recommend him if anybody wants to look into it. I could
Yeah,
talk about that day and night because once you have chronic inflammation, you're like, you have chronic inflammation and you have chronic inflammation, you have chronic inflammation, you have chronic, and then you eventually you just keep it to yourself.
yeah. Well, there's so, like you said, there's so many different factors. For me, it was largely digestive. Thank you, Em. For me, it was largely digestive, right? What I was eating and how much I was eating was just, I mean, the inflammation was just running rampant.
Yes, your food can absolutely cause digestive
Yeah.
inflammation.
But imagine how hard it is. And Adrian, I know you know how hard it is, but for other people who may not understand, imagine how hard it is if you have inflammation caused by something in your diet and then add that to something environmental, right? So pinpointing where the inflammation is coming from is so challenging. It's so challenging.
It's so challenging. And so a lot of people will just jump right to mold because it is actually pretty common to have water damage in your home. But I don't know if mold was the root cause. I think once you become inflamed, you just become sensitive to things that you shouldn't necessarily be super sensitive to.
Agree.
Um, thank you, Em, for the whatever you call this. What do you call this?
Being super awesome human being.
Thank you for being a super awesome human being. Em says, just tuned in. Um, am I frozen again? Dang it.
No,
Okay.
no, you're not. You're good.
I've been using tirzepatide for 3 weeks for mochi, and now for my refill.
It has
And then,
glycine. Is
mm-hmm.
uh-oh, where'd the rest of the question go?
Maybe it's coming because you know how it shuts down.
Oh, I
We
think it
shall
cut you
wait.
off at the end. I'm guessing it's gonna be a question about the glycine,
I don't
but,
know much about glycine. Do you?
I mean, not a whole lot,
Mm.
but I've seen people complain.
Hmm.
Is it okay to start taking it? Has yours changed? So, my medication came from Akita Chiquita Banana, before everything happened, so mine has, B3. So yeah, so the one that you got with the glycine comes from a different pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have any changes. I got a 6-month supply, like, all at one time. But if you have any concerns, you can always reach out to customer service.
I gotta tell you, when I first researched some of these things that they're adding to these shots, I realized that they were synthetic. As a person who's chronically inflamed, super sensitive, I was so worried about that. But it's been fine for me. You will know if it's not fine. You will start having swelling, maybe hives. If you see any reactions at all, be certain to contact your doctor. But it generally, whatever they're adding is very well received by most of the population. But as always, keep an eye.
Yes. Um, and then we got a question from Rachel.
Did I
So
miss
explain to us why the pharma and insurance companies can charge outrageous prices for these peptides. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of factors that go into this, but in short, you've got major entities and corporations that are all got their hand in the cookie jar and they all get a cut. So if you ever watch Dave at On the Pen, he goes in depth and really explains about PBMs, the insurance companies, right, pharmaceutical companies, and how, especially here in the US, we need healthcare reform because there are so many hands in the cookie jar, right? But the ones who essentially get the short end of the stick are the patients. So, yeah. Um, my dad was actually just telling me challenges that he is currently helping a friend through because they are taking an injection specifically for osteoporosis. Now, I had never heard of this, but apparently, this injection, you can only take it for 1 year, and it's supposed to reverse osteoporosis. In short, I'm giving you the short version. The medication after insurance and everything is like $7,000 a month. It's one shot per month. I don't know anybody, me personally, that can afford that. If you can, please message me, okay? Because I would like to be your friend. Um, so yeah, and then the pharmaceutical company runs like an assistance program, right? Because it's so expensive, and that brings it down to like 2,500 a month. So it's not just us. We really need reform for everyone. Like it's just crazy. And that's one shot a month. And you can only take it for a year.
I have
But
a
some of us
friend
do it
whose
works.
child, he just stopped growing in third or fourth grade. It
Oh,
might have been earlier than that. And she kept going to the doctors and saying, I know there's something off. And she just kept being brushed off. Kids grow at different times, blah, blah, blah. It did turn out he has a condition, um, Noonan's condition, Noonan's disease, and he needs human growth hormone.
right.
And somehow it's a carve out on like all insurance plans, and they only offer synthetic, and it's like $20,000 a month. But it's okay. You can just sign up for this side program or something. And it's just like, how is human growth hormone, which is like a peptide, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
Why do we have to give him synthetic? And why can't he get something that probably doesn't actually cost that much to make? And they're completely blocked. They blocked this child from receiving it for a full year. He finally got his hands on it and he's grown 4 inches in a year or something like that. I mean, it's really, really helping him. He really needed this for his Noonans. I think it's called Noonans. So yeah, I mean, my theory is that, hold on.
Oh no. Oh no. Is it a tin hat? Is that what we're getting?
Yeah. Here
Feel
we
like
go.
it's coming.
My
Okay.
theory is that Big Pharma is holding hopes that we will either get it government funded or insurance funded so they can hide their ridiculous cost behind a payer so that we don't
Mm,
see it on the front end because we would never pay that. They're going to
right.
hide it behind one of those payers and we'll still pay it because it'll be spread out somewhere else or we either cut or we have an increase somewhere. That's what I think because they know we're all going to demand coverage. I mean,
Right.
there's no way that the millions of people who are receiving compound medication are going to just not do it. Um, One person had said brain inflammation, very interesting. You know, if you're having a lot of so many things where people have a symptom and they think, I just need to go to therapy. And I'm like, no, you have inflammation or you have a hormone imbalance. Like there's a lot more physical things behind some of our daily struggles. See here. Brain inflammation, yeah.
Debbie's got a
Mhm.
question. I'm only
Is
two
it
months.
this one?
Yes, I'm only 2 months in. If you could look back to the beginning of your GLP journey, what would you do differently or do exactly the same that you recommend? Debbie, like knocking it
That
out of
is
the park with the
good.
good questions. Okay, go ahead, Adrian.
Me first. Okay.
Yeah.
I would do exactly what I did do. I came in guns a-blazing and I was like, this is my last hope. I've literally done lion diet and sardine fasting, and that wasn't enough for me. So if this peptide doesn't work, what will ever work? You know, I've done the surgery, I've done the show. And so I came out real hard. I tracked everything that I ate, every morsel I put in my mouth for 3 full months. I started out on a very low plan through a health coach named Maria Emmerich, and the pounds just flew off me. The inflammation just flew off me. Um, I think I lost 25 pounds in the first month, which a lot of that was inflammation, like a lot. Like I was peeing day and night for 2 weeks, and I have chronic inflammation. So that's actually very accurate. So I'd say on top of the inflammation, I lost another 10 pounds. So it was a lot. I have had past times where I lost so much weight that 3 months later, all my hair fell out, and I didn't want that to happen. So I backed down. Now I'm going to eat more. I leaned into my suppression days and I ate more on my non suppression days, and I kept exercising and I lost more weight. Then I tried the whole fasting thing where you fast and then you make sure to feed the other days. Still losing, just the weight is just flying off me. And so eventually, I just really calmed all that down because of life. So I wouldn't change a thing because I changed what I was doing. I never messed up my metabolism. I never lost hair. I'm able to eat food today. I never really plateaued. But I also, it did feel kind of good to get that weight off. So I wouldn't do it differently. What I would suggest to people out there would be to do what feels right to you because some people are not ready to come in like that. You know, you need to do what's comfortable to you, and it's way more sustainable to do something incremental. I do highly recommend tracking, even though some people are like, no, if you're not ready coming in, that's fine. Maybe you'll lose weight without tracking. You don't know. You know, it's all an experiment. And if it does, what you're doing doesn't work, then you just change your experiment. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I agree with that. That was just right on point. So if I could have done anything differently, which at the time I couldn't, what I would have loved to have done is to do um, compound tirzepatide through a telehealth company that would allow me to microdose.
Mm.
Because I think that at the beginning, because my body was so broken, that many of the people who started following me, they were like, you've got to be a hyper responder. I mean, the weight is just coming off of you. Keep in mind, at 285 pounds, I was deathly afraid that I was going to get hurt by working out. So I was
Mhm.
not working out. I was doing just very minimal, like maybe once a week, resistance training, but it was all very easy stuff. So I think that in the beginning, I would have loved to have done that because that's when I was really getting all of the results. And I think that it would have set me up for even more success to not go up in dose. Now, having said all of that, that was not an option for me back then. I had to go name brand through insurance to be able to afford it. So I always tell people go low, go slow, and don't be afraid to stay on a dose a little bit longer, even if you stall out, because you can always move up, right? As long as you're not capped out. But once you move up, there's no guarantee that that next dose, and I learned this with 7.5, there's no guarantee that that next dose is going to be the holy grail, right? You see so many people posting in support groups and they're like, oh, I stalled out on 5 and then I went to 7.5 and it's great. Or I went to 10 and it's great, right? And then you do it and you were like me. And for 3 months on 7.5, you were like, I would love to lose 1 pound, please. I am tracking everything I'm eating. I'm working out like, and I can't explain it. I don't know why it happens. So I would just say, as long as you're getting the results, stay where you're at and stay with it. So,
That
yeah.
is so interesting you just said that specific number because, on one hand, I'm like, for a lot of people, I think compounding is better because every body is so different that being able to dose for you is really good. But they also did do experiments with those numbers. And it's so interesting. My friend was saying that her insurance refused to cover 7.5 for more than a few weeks
Yep.
because they said it was this weird stepping stone dose.
Yeah. So a lot of what they did in the original studies was just about what can people tolerate, because I think that originally the goal was, let's get people through this. Let's get them up to the highest dose. Let's get them to lose maximum weight so that our numbers look good. Right?
Mhm.
And they did. They absolutely achieved that. At the time that Manjaro came out, it was crazy cat ladies here. Um, at the time that Manjaro came out, it was absolutely kicking, Ozempic's butt. And it still does to this day for many people, not everyone. And so, really it was about getting those numbers. What I love to see is just recently with, I believe it was the CagriSema study, don't quote me on that. With one of the recent research studies, they didn't do that to people. They didn't force them up in dose. You got to go to whichever dose, and when you started losing weight, you stayed there as long as you lost weight. If we had that kind of research study for Ozempic and Manjaro, I think that the numbers would really surprise people, because they go into it now and they're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to lose 15% or 22%, and that's it. That's all I can do. And they hang up their hat and they give up. But there's so much more. There's so much more. So,
My sister totally lost half her body on semaglutide. Or
yeah.
she was on name brand Wegovy. I mean, truly, she lost half. I mean, she had to have been. I don't know what she weighed, but she's tiny now. It feels like half. It truly feels like she lost half her body. Um, I want to. We actually in our group meeting tonight, we're kind of talking about this, and this is something super important to talk about. The first thing is we need to get you some momentum. How do we get you some momentum? And you got to keep that momentum going just one step further past where you're saying self-sabotage. What do you say to this?
So, to Tracy, I would say I've been there, done that. That's the story of my life.
Tracy, how
It,
long have you been on? You should
yeah.
let us know.
Let us know. So, for me in the beginning, and I want you to know every time I say beginning, I think about that TikTok clip where the guy's like, in the beginning. So every time I say it, if I'm smiling really big, that's why, because I hear that guy in my head, my ADD goes into beginning. So in the beginning, um, I I have always had this cycle of great progress, self-sabotage, great progress, sabotage, right? And getting in it. And one thing that really helped me was to just keep looking forward. I stopped focusing on what was in the past, what happened in the past, how I failed in the past. That was me then. What am I going to be now? What am I doing today? And I stopped making it about putting all this pressure on myself. And I talk about this a lot because I think that as human beings, we do this to ourselves, right? Have you ever had a day where it's the weekend and you've had a long week at work and then you're like, "Oh no, it's the weekend. I should be doing something. I should get up. I should clean. I should do this." And you like get down on yourself because you're not being productive.
Because you sat and did a puzzle?
We love that. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to take a break. It's okay
Mhm.
to relax. Like, there's so many people, and I see it all the time, that are talking about their fatigue, and they're like, I tell them, you need to hydrate, you need to relax, take it easy as much as you can. And it's like this foreign concept for most of us that were raised in a certain generation, where it's like, if you have any downtime, what are you doing with your life? You got to take care of yourself. And the more self-care that you do, Tracy, talking to you, the more self-care you do, the better you're going to feel. The better you feel, the more you're going to do. The more you do, the more success you're going to see. And then it catches like wildfire. And the next thing you know, you lost 10 pounds, you lost 20 pounds. You realize that, for me, it was walking out to the mailbox and realizing I'm not out of breath. I got this. I'm out
Mhm.
shopping and I don't need to sit down. You just have to give yourself time, and it's okay to take your time. But you can't look at the past. The past is what it is. You didn't have this opportunity in the past. Now you have an opportunity. You're going to grab a hold of it. And it doesn't matter how much that horse bucks, you are riding it. You are a cowgirl. You got this. Okay.
I kind of suspected this. She just started February 1st. So you're still in this bubble of, is this even going to work for me? And so you're maybe thinking that you're just sabotaging it already. What I would do if I were you is head to TikTok, go look up some success stories. Do you have any people that she should look up? Definitely the downsized. They're both at goal now.
Yes. Great
Um,
videos.
we also have Madison Lothan. She got to her goal. The maintenance minute woman, she's at goal. Like there's a bunch of people.
Yep. Great.
Who else?
Yeah.
Go
There's
look up people. And on TikTok, I feel like that's where I found the most people. You definitely can't find much on Instagram. Carly Sheen. Oh, that is an inspiration. She's looking hot. Go look up people who got to their goal and picture yourself being them because you can absolutely be them. 100. I mean, I was on The Biggest Loser. I had gastric bypass. I ate lion diet for like 50 days and I could not get it. I could not get it. It was not sticking. And adding this tool, it adding it to doing all the things. Yes. Christopher and Lorraine are at goal. Go check them out and be inspired.
yeah. There's a comment here from Deb Buller that I'd like to highlight. It says, "Hello, everyone. I gained 2 pounds after my first shot. I was so upset. I didn't overeat or eat bad foods. Very frustrating." So the key word here or words is first shot. There are some people that do not get the full effect of whatever you're taking until at least 4 weeks in. And even then, some people need higher doses. So, plus 2 pounds, Deb, I'm just going to give it to you real. You probably just needed to take a dump,
It can also
right?
be your electrolytes. Like, I don't know if you need electrolytes the whole time you take this. Some people say you do, but they say it's really important in the beginning when your body's trying to figure out inflammation and bouncing some things around in your liver. And so I've heard that, add some salt to your water. It doesn't have to be fancy. Making sure you're getting enough of that in.
Yeah, and Deb, just keep in mind, like, you can fluctuate if you okay, perfect example. I was having a really stressful day on Friday. Work was crazy. My coworker was out. I was like, I am not going to make it through this day. So I did one of my favorite things which is to eat sushi. It's my favorite. I've loved it ever since I was a little kid. And I know now, a year and change into this journey, that if I eat sushi, right, rice is carbs, and soy sauce, high in sodium, I know I'm going to gain 2 to 3 pounds overnight. Without fail, I know it's going to happen. But see, that kind of information you learn over time.
Mhm.
So you say that you gained 2 pounds, but more than likely it was water. It was constipation. You had a high carb meal the day before, and your body is retaining water to then process those carbs. And then once you process those carbs, right, then it goes away. You're taking, like Adrian just said, you're doing electrolytes. If it's high in sodium, you're going to retain water. There are so many different factors. So just just know that as you go on, it
Mhm.
gets easier, it gets better, and you realize that 2 pounds is nothing. It's not really weight gain like we've all been programmed to think it is.
We follow so many amazing influencers who do such an amazing job that are just on it every day and they share it with us how wonderful they're doing. But let me tell you, I share with you my on days. I did not share with you the day that I decided to eat 3 cinnamon rolls. I know you're all panicking out there. I did. I
If I
know.
if I even had one, I
I
would be
wanted
so
to see
sick.
A, if I could tolerate gluten, B, if my reactive
Yes.
hypoglycemia was gonna kick in, and
Right?
D, they were gooey and delicious. Okay. The next day I
Absolutely.
gained 3 pounds. But I've done enough of that, not that bad, but enough experiments along the way to know that it's a temporary weight gain. But if I keep overall doing all the things that I do, I still have been getting towards my goal. That's not where I live. I don't eat 3 sticky buns a day. That
Right.
probably wouldn't work out very well, but I have. And so don't expect yourself to be perfect because the only thing we ever see on social media is perfection.
The other thing I want to mention that Adrian just reminded me of is that weighing yourself on the same day every week is not necessarily going to show you the results unless you start out by tracking your weight every single day. So here's what I did. I started out typical once a week. And I was getting really frustrated because it didn't look like the scale was moving. And I was like, what is going on? My clothes are getting smaller. So, what I quickly found out after weighing myself every day is that your body fluctuates and each person's body, again, is different. I lose my weight on day 8 or day 10. So if you're weighing yourself every shot day, for example, so once every 7 days, but that's not when you lose weight, then you're missing out on the joy of that success because you're seeing the number go like this, right? And it's in a downward motion, but I would encourage you to, branch out. Look at the little meat. That's so cute. Branch
Just to
out.
debunk, both of us are not carnivore. I eat carnivore because first of all, it's very nutritious and amazing and it fills your gut. And I'm just saying it's really good for helping maintain muscle and so many different health benefits, including the brain, the bones, and the body. But also because I have reactive hypoglycemia. And if I eat anything other than meat, even on a GLP-1, I struggle with this hypoglycemia that could literally cause brain damage. And it's really relieved some of my autoimmune symptoms that I was having. So I really enjoy the carnivore diet. I think it's wonderful. But what I've learned after adding a GLP-1 is part of the reason that I needed it was because my body was not reacting to food well. And a body that has good hormone signaling and good brain signaling has metabolic flexibility to eat other foods. And I do think back to like our ancestors, like way long ago. They definitely had access to plants and carbohydrates seasonally. And the
Mhm.
closer to the equator, the more carbohydrates you had access to. But I don't think there are any societies that didn't have access to some plant sometime during the year.
Right.
So I think it would have been primal for us to eat a lot of meat, but also plants.
There was a really great comment here from Sharon Gladwin.
Is it
Leading my
this one?
No,
I had to throw that up there.
that's my
And
bitter
then did
chickie. I love her.
and then wow, thank you.
Em, we are loving you tonight. I'm sending you a
Yes.
great big hug.
Oh, and
I'm gonna ask more questions, Em.
same. Well, I mean, I lost some weight on the lion diet and then it made my body very inflamed and so it all came back in a matter of a few days. And then I thought, well, obviously this is inflammation and then that just like never came off. I had to get hormone support, thyroid support and eventually GLP-1 to get that back off. So, I don't think lion diet is for everyone. I'm not saying some people can't find healing and calmness and benefits from it, but it wasn't the right diet for me.
And a lot of it's trial and error, finding something that works for
Mm.
you, like carnivore works for Adrian, it doesn't work for me. So there's a lot of trial and error, and I think you just have to be willing to test things out. And if you hear whining, Sega's asleep beside me and she's having a dream.
That's so cute.
She's like kicking her legs.
I love this. She reached her goal and she's allowed to indulge. That is so wonderful. I mean, did you ever think you were going to get to goal? Because I've tried a whole lot of things thinking, Biggest Loser, I thought, this is going to get me to the goal. Gastric bypass, this is going to get me to goal. Carnivore, this is going to get me to goal. And then never being able to get out of a certain range. It's amazing. What a miracle. Oh, this is funny. Luce has arrested me and taken my carnivore card away.
Uh-oh.
Oh, three
I wanted
donuts. It
to
happens.
Yeah, Jen had 3 donuts yesterday. Yeah, my latest, fun food is what I call them. It's not good or bad, it's just fun. I was craving cookies, so I got these little, cookie dough bites that, you can eat it even though it's cookie dough. And I just have, like, a couple, and it satisfies the craving, and then I feel better, and I'm like, "Okay, now I can move on with life." But I wanted to grab this comment from Sharon Gladwin. It says, "Leading microdosing advocated doctors not recommending microdosing at the beginning of weight loss journey if you have 100 plus pounds to lose, because in order for microdosing to work, metabolism has to be working." So yes and no, and this is just my personal opinion. Obviously, I ain't a doctor. Um, I think that part of this, again, in my opinion, depends on how your body reacts. So, like I said, in the beginning of my journey, um, that I speculated, am I a hyper responder? Is my body super broken? And that's why I was doing so well for so long. I mean, like the first 6 months was just phenomenal, especially being diabetic. So I think it just depends on the body. But I just wanted to highlight that comment because that is accurate. That they talk about how, if you're going to microdose, right, you need to figure out if that microdosing works for you. And at the beginning of my journey, I would have loved to be able to do that experiment, if you will.
You know, you would think, you having the diabetes and my
Yeah.
husband having the diabetes,
Right.
that you would need a higher dose. I know people with diabetes and they can go all the way to the top dose on Ozempic and not lose a pound.
Right.
So it really is per person, because my husband could not stand the starting dose and he lost most of his weight at point 0.8.
And see,
And so
that's
you just don't know.
phenomenal.
So if we would have just stuck him at 2.5 and made him acclimate there, or made him suffer it out, we don't know. But I do want to say there's so much. Now we've switched from the diet brain to how your value in your size is how much medication you took. Like, we're switching our, it's like some people who didn't accept Ozempic before, now it's like, well, we can accept GLP-1 now, but only if you microdose it. Otherwise, it's still cheating. And it's not. Some people need more, especially when it comes to weight loss. What is your thought about that?
Um, I totally lost what you just said. I'm so sorry. My ADD brain kicked in because M said, "When did you all start?"
Oh, oh, oh. When did you? Oh, yeah, I did start that. Okay. I started September 2024. So I'm actually a baby GLP-1er.
I started 11/17 of 23.
Yeah.
And
But
then
here's what's amazing. I don't know where you're starting in your journey, but what's crazy is, if you're kind of like, there's a lot of people in my group who were able to lose, let's say, 50 pounds doing keto or carnivore, but then they gained a few back. They were never actually able to get out of overweight. Um, they were able to get to goal pretty quickly when previously they struggled for years. So it's kind of a crazy thing how well this works. But then I don't know, when you're how what was your rate of weight loss?
me,
Yeah.
it was, I was pretty consistent at like 2 pounds a week, right?
Amazing.
Which it would make most diabetics fall out of their chair because they're lucky if they can do, um, even half
Oh,
a pound a week.
hi, Dad.
Oh, hi, Jerry.
Hi, Dad. That's so sweet. I don't think he's ever popped out alive before. And
Oh,
then we got, I
that's
think
so
this is
sweet.
called a super chat from Rachel. You guys are
Rachel.
amazing and informative. You are amazing, Rachel. I'm going to
Yeah,
be seeing
thank
Rachel all over the
you.
place. Hopefully, she's coming to all the meet ups.
Oh my goodness.
I
That
know, I
meetup.
know. We're so dorky. There was another good one. Okay. Please clarify, how is medication working when Lion Diet didn't? So Lion Diet is an elimination diet where you just eat ruminant animals like buffalo, deer, uh, cow, goat, something with the four-chambered stomachs, water, and salt. That's it. And so
Giraffe.
what it's and giraffe, that's true.
I'm just messing
And
with you. I'm
giraffe.
sorry. Go ahead.
I think that is a ruminant animal. I thought it was
I
that
think
on the
so.
list. I couldn't source any giraffe, but I'm pretty sure that's on there. Uh, and And having this meat that is processed as food in a way that is just not very inflammatory for us, it's supposed to reduce your inflammation and help you heal, but it doesn't touch your hormone pathways. It doesn't fix hormone pathways. It doesn't help insulin resistance. It doesn't fix insulin resistance at all, I don't think. So, and for me, ruminant animal, Judy Cho has a pretty big piece on this. She's a nutritionist, um, about how lion diet isn't enough nutrition. You need to couple it with at least eggs, maybe fish. So I like sea lion better if I were ever go that restricted again. But here's the thing, what I learned was restricting isn't going to heal it. It's actually going to make you more and more and more sensitive to the things you just restricted, versus your body kind of putting up with it even if it doesn't think it's optimal. So restriction, I don't think restriction heals. I think restriction slows things down and gives you some relief.
Right.
And so there's definitely benefit to restriction, but in the end, we're going to need some more tool to to heal things, to get it feeling better.
And then Sandy, to answer your other question, I am not on the carnivore diet. I just have carnivore friends.
Now, because of me and Lewis.
Yes.
Did you have carnivore friends before us?
No, but I have watched, carnivore creators. I've seen them before, so I'm familiar with some of it. Although some of the names of the various options I'm not as familiar with. So, but it has kind of sparked me that maybe I should come up with my own diet, because like you guys have all these cool names like sea lion and lion and primal and blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm gonna come up with see, I'm gonna come up with the glitter unicorn diet. That's gonna be my thing. And
that
it's
sounds great.
I don't know what it's gonna be.
Do we get to eat unicorn? Because I really like meat.
No, because then we'll all starve because there aren't any around.
It's hard to source.
Very hard to source. But yeah, just because I want to have something with a cool name. Like everybody's got all these cool names. Like the vegans, they have like raw tofu and high carb, low fat, and they've got all the things. Everybody's got their thing. I need a thing. So if you're a nutritionist and you wanna reach out to me, please let me know, and we'll come up. We'll make the unicorn diet. I'm not qualified.
Vinny's got no grains, no sugar, which is essentially the carnivore, which is essentially, I don't know, the whole foods diet. I don't know. Anyway, okay. I stayed the same weight. Do you think I should move up to the next dose?
How long did you stay the same weight, Marilyn?
Mm-hmm.
So 4 weeks constitutes a stall. So if it hasn't been 4 weeks, then you stay where you are. Because remember, especially if you just went up in dose, it takes 4 weeks for it to build up in your system. So you may not see results. This is funny. You may not see results right until you've been on that dose for 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
My bitter chickie says to gain 1 pound of actual weight, you'd need to eat 3,500 extra calories over your chosen deficit. So it's highly doubtful 2 pounds is weight. My bitter chickie girl, she is so smart. That is 100% correct. Adrian, lights out. What happened?
I gotta find you. I'm sorry. I have an alarm.
Okay. I'll keep going. Let's see.
Sorry. You have to take, this is me working on my sleep. I'm adding progesterone under the supervision of a doctor.
Good.
And it says you have to take it at 8 o'clock. Okay.
Ava's got a question. Hi, I just completed my 3rd week on branded Z. I love how we refer to things now. Like it makes us sound like we're the cool kids, right? Are you on that branded Z? Are you on that lowdown? Okay. I'm aging myself now. Paying out of pocket. Oh God, that's so painful. Very expensive. So I'm hitting it hard, eating carnivore, fasting, walking down 16 pounds. Great job. Determined to get the most out of this. Ava, you are a rock star. I don't think
you're going to regret it.
You've got the right mentality. Just keep on.
You're doing awesome.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed lion, but I also really like chicken wings and pork belly. Ooh, have you had pork belly?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had never had it till I was carnivore, because you got to go look up. You're like, what am I supposed to eat now? Because I used to just eat chicken and eggs. Mm-hmm. And it was like, what should I eat now? Pork belly is really good. I like it better than bacon. I'm approaching 82, started compounding on March 16th. And I'm wondering if anybody else is older and what kind of results are you having? I feel frustrated. I gained weight after first week's loss.
It's okay, Sandy. You just got to stick with it. And to answer your question about finding support in your age group, I have quite a few group members that are in your age group. So if you're looking for support, definitely go to the link in the description box and join my group and make a post. we have lots of really supportive people in your age range. And I do find that they have better success at higher doses. I don't know if that has anything to do with age. You still want to go low and slow. So, but just kind of keep that in the back of your mind.
That's interesting you said that because throughout time, the receptors in our gut do break down. So that makes a lot of sense.
There you go.
Um, to a lot of people in my Eat Meat group are postmenopausal because that's when it really gets hard. So I
Yes.
feel like all of my best friends are 62, 72, 82.
Mhm.
Truly. So yeah, I definitely think there's support out there for you. Oh, GLPs have changed my whole eating style. Like I'm not just gorging on food, like always want to, but now I can have a little bit of something and be satisfied. It's super lit. I
It
so
is.
agree.
It
It
is
is so
so
nice to
lit.
eat and then actually be satiated until the next meal.
It's
It's
weird.
it's it's so crazy. So when I see the haters going on and on, I'm like, you don't even know what this is. It's not what you think it is. You think it's like some kind of diet pill that makes you sick, like all the other diet pills.
Right. Right.
And it's not. It's so much better. Lewis believed he needed higher doses the first time he was on Monjaro. Now he's 100 pounds down and off for 6 months, and his metabolism has healed to respond to a microdose. Let us know. That gives me hope.
Yeah, me too. Me too, big time, Lewis, because that's we share that same philosophy, which is as you lose weight, right? And your body kind of levels out, you become less insulin resistant, which then I think, again, I ain't a doctor, I think gives your body the opportunity to heal. It's just a matter of can you do it or do you still need help? So I'm very interested to see how that goes. Lewis, if you don't keep me updated, then I will cry and it will be all your fault.
This is help, like hope. Lady Alex for Sandy, she's 66 and she's lost
Mhm.
50 pounds.
That's
That's
fantastic.
amazing. Um, M just started 3-3. Make sure you weigh in the morning after voiding. Is that peeing?
Yes, any any kind of bathrooming. Lady
That's
Alex, I
what
gotta
I
tell
do
you,
too.
that is the nicest way I have ever seen anybody put it after voiding. Love that.
I love it. That is good.
I'm always just like, I get in the comments and I'm just like, tell me what's going on. Somebody posted earlier and they were like, well, I'm having these side effects. I'm like, what's happening? You got the diarrhea, you got the constipation, you got the sulfur burps. Hey, here comes Kevin. Come here, Kevin. Did you wake
You
up?
would love,
Did you
my
just
friend
wake
Courtney
up?
has this reel about when you first go carnivore, you just don't have the right bile muscle. Okay. So if you eat a bunch of fat, you will just have the runs. And she called it lubing the chute. The whole reel
Hilarious.
is so funny.
Love
Anyway,
that.
how did you lose 2 pounds a week? Did you change your diet or did you just eat less?
Who, me?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. So in the beginning, I did not exercise at all at 280, 285. So it was 100% diet. So I went to the tdeecalculator.net. I've calculated my calorie deficit at that weight. And if you need a video on how to help you do that, I have videos on how to do that. And it walks you through all the steps and shows you where to click because some people get confused. So I was in a calorie deficit and I completely overhauled my diet. So as a type 2 diabetic, right, I went lower carb, but not like keto level. I wasn't even close to that. So, lots of whole foods, Keeping the carbs low, making sure to prioritize protein, right? I was doing at least 30 grams of protein per meal and then prioritizing protein for snacks. So that is what worked for me, and also tracking everything. I
Mhm.
just track, I mean, down to sauces. I mean, I am like a sauce junkie. So I learned very quickly, wow. I mean, even just this little bit of honey mustard was throwing off my calories for the day. It's so delicious, but it's 200 calories. I could have 200 calories of chicken instead and be a lot happier throughout the day. So it's there's trial and error there, but yeah, it was, when I say that weight loss is 95% nutrition, that's what I'm talking about.
One thing I did was say, I'm a new woman and I'm going to have something. So for me, because I came from this basically lion diet, this very clean meat, water, salt diet, I was having meat, water, salt, eggs, fish, and there was most of my carnivore was dairy free because that can be inflammatory to people with autoimmune conditions. So when I came in, I decided I'm going to have coffee with liquid sucralose and dairy in it. And I'm going to have this every day, no matter what I'm doing, including my fasting days. I had that coffee. I didn't always drink the whole thing, but I said, I'm going to have this thing that makes me feel good every day. That was where I was like, this actually does work, because I didn't have to be so restrictive for the first time in my life. But I did track that. I tracked, the half and half. I tracked just the half and half because coffee and sweetener don't have anything. But, so I don't think it's terrible you don't have to torture yourself. um,
I had to learn how to not torture myself. But once you get there and you learn the portion sizes and the right, it becomes easier. So definitely, if you're just starting out, put in the work, because then it makes it easier later on. Hi Anna,
that's
I see you, by the way, in the comments.
That sounds so horrible to me. But Lady Alex also said that the diet sounded horrible to her. To each their
Right.
own.
Yeah, I see a lot of people doing CMOS.
Yeah. Donna says, so thankful gastric bypass in 2002. I'm dealing with this. Yay! And she's starting the semaglutide. It helps so much post-surgery. One thing I learned, because I asked my doctor, I was hoping to be able to microdose, especially with like how I eat. It would kind of make sense to be able to stay lower because meat is so dense and it moves so slowly through your digestive system to begin with. And I just don't find myself as sensitive as I was hoping I would. So I asked the doctor, did I talk about this at our last call? And he said that when you are 10 plus years post gastric bypass, you have had an you like apparently the gastric bypass causes your body to produce more GLP-1 at a high rate. And so you've had 10 years of really high natural GLP-1, and so it starts wearing off, and that's why we start by 10 years seeing people start to gain weight again, because we're no longer getting appropriate signaling. So we feel a lot better on this medication 10
Yeah.
plus years out.
I don't I don't remember if you mentioned it in the last one or not, because you told
I
me that
don't
before, and it's so interesting. I love that.
Yeah, I'd be so interested to interview different people and find out how sensitive they are. One
Yes.
thing I did say last time I wanted to retract, even though we have lots of comments, is I brought up the term skinny fat. And immediately when I said it, I was like, why did you say that? The back of my brain was like, no, you did not just say that. And then afterwards, I was like, no, I really wish I didn't say that, because I do truly believe we can do many things to try and avoid having excess skin and looking skinny fat. But there's so many things at play: your age, your hormones, so many things. I lose weight from here to here, so everybody thinks I'm like insanely skinny. But from here down, I got some badonkadonk. We don't get to pick. So I just wanted to say I retract ever saying those words, because I think we can do all we want. But I know people who can't build muscle no matter what they do. And
Yeah.
they're eating right. and they're exercising and they cannot build muscle.
Right. Well, and
Um,
I think that we haven't been taught how to build muscle. Like for many of us, we didn't take, that weight training class in high school, right? So we haven't been taught how to build muscle and we have to learn it. It's something that we have to learn. Just like we haven't been taught proper nutrition. Other countries are vastly ahead of us when it comes to nutrition. So
that's so
it's
interesting you brought that up because studies are showing that kids need to move and build muscle because there is lifelong muscle memory. So if you were an athletic kid, you are way more likely to have that underneath you as an adult.
yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
it is.
Okay, when are you coming to a meetup? Ah,
Yeah, I would definitely go to a meetup. I don't know that everybody would be like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" I'd be
you
like,
can be my
"Hey, I'm
BFF.
just hanging out. I'm gonna eat a potato. How you guys doing?" Right? The people would
That's
hate
my
me.
husband. He
I
comes
would
to the meetups and he's like, here's my French fries. And then he's like, hey, I need a refill in my Dr. Pepper.
right.
And
Right.
everybody's
And
like,
people are giving him side eye. They're
"What's
like,
in pop?"
"You're
What kind of
embarrassing
dog is
me."
Kevin?
He's a whippet. Whippet good. Phew. And I think she also wanted to know about his diet because he is naturally thin. Um, he's just lucky. People comment on my videos all the time. They're like, "Oh, Kevin's on that Ozempic. He's got Ozempic face,"
The Whippet
which
diet?
makes me laugh. Yeah, the whippet diet.
Rachel started on December 4th. Um,
Look, Ava's
um,
70,
that's awesome.
Anna's
Absolutely.
69, and
I'm
then
not
Alex
joking
is
you. I was
66.
just on a cruise with carnivores and we were going to have a picture with a 41, a 51, a 61, a 71, and an 81. Yeah. Um, awesome. Another person, this would be the Ruin Y, which is the gastric bypass. And Anna is 69.
Mhm.
And like we know, Lady Alex is 66, 56. Yeah, like how old are you, Allie?
I just turned 41.
What day? What? On
Yeah,
March
remember
7th or March?
March 6th. Yeah, remember we're both Pisces.
I didn't realize we were the same exact age.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it was meant to be.
Oh yeah. This is
And
my better chickie. I love her.
down 86 in a year.
Charlene, she's a gangster,
I
working
did
hard.
hear that GLP-1 significantly helps with gut healing.
Mhm.
And yeah, every oh, um, we talked a lot about weight loss speeds tonight, and we all, we're all aiming for, not me per se, but like everybody's aiming for like slow and steady to maintain muscle and hopefully have good skin and all that. Um, but I also made a joke. I heard the Candace of the Tea of Jill P. She one time said, "Losing too much weight is like having too much money. It's a problem I'll deal with."
Nice. I think that in the beginning, you all you're doing, at least for me, I'll just speak for me. All I was doing was looking at other people who lost 100 pounds, and I was like, how do I get there as fast as possible? Right? Because we've all been in this cycle of being disappointed, working so
Mhm.
hard and then being disappointed. And so then you see this light and you're just sprinting towards it and you're like, yes, I want to lose 100 pounds in 5 minutes. This is going to be great, right? But now that I've lost over 100 pounds, I'm like, okay, we're doing good. We're just going to keep on going, keep trucking. We're on the right path. It's, some weeks are better than other weeks, but we just stick with it. Consistency is key, right? I think over time, as you learn and grow, right, your priorities change.
Well, first I want to bring this up. That's amazing. You lost about 1.8 pounds a week for 10 months. You tracked and you exercised and you're continuing. That is amazing.
That's great,
Um,
Candy.
Yeah, then what were you just saying?
Oh, I don't remember.
Oh my
ADD
gosh.
brain.
Me
Angel
too.
Face says, Allie, what tracker do you use? I use the free version of MyFitnessPal because I'm lazy and I'm cheap. But there are a lot of really great trackers out there. So I like MyFitnessPal because it lets me program meals into it. And like I said, free.
Okay, I got one we're totally going to disagree on. But first, I use
Ooh, ooh.
Carb Manager for my food tracking. Okay.
Let's see it. What do we got? What do we got?
How often do you recommend drinking electrolytes? Every day? Once a day? Do you have recommendations? Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, so for me, um, I think that for many people, not everyone, that electrolytes every day are not necessary. Especially if you're meeting your water goals, you're getting in the hydration, you're not having an issue with constipation or, challenges when it comes to like cramping and things like that. I think that electrolytes are pushed really, really hard. So for me personally, I have found that I do electrolytes as needed, which is usually once every few days. And I try to choose options that are not super high in salt. So I do, yeah. Okay, ready? Go. What happened?
Oh, nothing. Okay.
What?
Okay, so when I was pregnant with my last pregnancy, I did a home birth. And I told my midwife I was really worried she wouldn't take me because previous pregnancy I had preeclampsia, which is high blood pressure.
Right.
And I said, "Would you take me?" And she said, "Yes, but I want you to drink electrolytes every day." And I did. And I had, for the first pregnancy ever, no swelling. And I won't, because I feel brain foggy today, I won't be able to give you the exact science, but sometimes it's the opposite of what you think. Sometimes the
Interesting.
swelling is something else. I don't know. Anyway, but when you, oh, I know what it was. When you are swelling from salt, it's actually, they say, a reaction. I need Lewis to put it in there. Lewis put it in there. It's a reaction to your
I don't know.
sugar, not your salt. Your body holds on to water because of your blood sugar, not because of the salt. But anyway,
Interesting.
I think that if you drink too much electrolytes, you're just making expensive pee. So you will know because you'll just be peeing like crazy. But if you're not peeing like crazy, your body might actually need it. And some of the people who talk about the weight gain right after a shot, I feel like that might be your body telling you something. And I know that these mess, I'm going to say mess, they do something to your kidney that's kicking out fluid, and when you kick out fluid, you're kicking out electrolytes. So I think it's good to
Right.
replenish them. Now, I personally use something called Salty, SALTT, and I
Mhm.
use this company because they don't use maltodextrin. Everybody else uses maltodextrin, and that can affect your blood sugar. And they also don't use citric acid. And citric acid can cause you inflammation and to just feel like poo. And you're like, I have no idea why I feel like poo. It could be the citric acid. So it's so funny because I was in like some GLP-1 groups and I said, "Hey, maybe you need some electrolytes," because their symptom was like red flag, you need some electrolytes. And
Mhm.
everybody was like, "That's like eating ramen noodles." And they like ate me alive. And that's when I was like, "Okay, good thing it was under my fake profile." You don't even know who I am. Amanda Dream Team. Anyway, I don't really know though. I think everybody is different. I really do. I really
Yes,
can't say every
agreed.
single person needs electrolytes, every single person, because I think a lot of people be making expensive pee.
Well, and I think a lot of it depends on what other things you're consuming, right?
Mhm.
So, maybe what you're consuming on a regular basis in your diet is helping you. Maybe it's not, and you need more electrolytes. It's challenging to say. But I always just try to make a point to say, because some creators, they get on there and it's like, you think that's all they ever drink is electrolytes. And so I like to provide the other side of the spectrum. Are you drinking electrolytes?
Hell yes, I am. I'm drinking Coco Loco as we speak. It is the best
Oh,
electrolyte in the
yeah.
whole wide world.
I gotta try that one.
And I'm telling you, you got to give me your address. I will mail you some because you might never be able to drink plain water again. And it's like, like not necessarily a good way. It's so good.
Well,
And you
for
would never think in a million years chocolate water that has 2 calories would be good, but it's so good.
it
Like, I
I
don't
don't know,
even
it
do it
sounds
for
good
the
to me.
electrolytes. I do it because I get all my liquid in.
Yeah. Well, for anybody who's wondering, I am not drinking electrolytes. I am, in fact, drinking Diet Dr. Pepper because that is what fuels me. It also helps me reach my water goal. Fight me in the comments. It's carbonated water. Okay.
Okay, this is a really important comment, and I can
Mm,
just feel this one to the depths of my soul.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know if you can relate with this. I just need to brace yourself. You may need a tissue for crying
Oh, no, I
or
wasn't ready for
for
that.
stuffing our bras. I'm with you. I'm with you. My
Yeah.
feet shrunk. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
mine
funny.
too.
I feel like
Mine too.
mine shrunk a tiny bit, but not as much as my boobs.
Yeah.
The good news is for me though, they seem to have kind of shrunk up. Like there's been other times in my journey where they were like down, but now I honestly feel like I don't even need to wear a bra anymore. I'm not even wearing one right now. I'm just kidding. I am. I am. But
I was like,
it's,
"Great, just rub it in, Adrian. The rest of us have pancakes."
I
We're
feel
like
like I could literally
tying a
run
bow, put it
these
over our
days without a
shoulder.
bra. And I don't feel sad about it because I feel like having fat on your chest makes it difficult to breathe and it hurts your back.
Yeah. I am 1,000,000% deflated, and I recently joined some, breast reduction groups
Ah, that's
to start learning
exciting.
in that, so
Yes. Joy is 64 and it's been slow going.
that's okay.
Mhm.
Just keep at it. Keep
I'm
on
with
keeping
you.
on.
Those first few pounds, I was like, yes, let's get it done. And then I know because parts of my body are still 30% fat, and I got a DEXA scan, so I know this. So there's parts of my body where I'd like to lose some more fat, but if it just happens really, really slowly, that's fine. If it never happens, that's probably fine too. But part of me is like, I was never a skinny kid. I could never wear a two-piece. So part of me is like,
Either.
why not just live it up while
Yeah,
we're at it?
absolutely.
We only have this
Absolutely.
window. Why not? I'm only 41. Um,
Um, Amarette had a great comment that I wanted to comment on. She said, "My dogs are raw carnivores. They started before me." I love you, and I love this comment. As a canine nutritionist, a raw diet, freaking phenomenal. So, Amarette, kudos to you.
that's
And
really
yes, your dog is a
advocated
carnivore.
in our community. That's really celebrated. Started in September, and you and like you, Allie, consistently losing 2 pounds a week. That's amazing. 66 pounds.
That's
Oh my
phenomenal.
gosh. And she's on the dreaded 7.5. May it be amazing for you.
Some people
Robin
love
just turned
7.5.
63. Happy birthday, Robin. Wow, see,
Yay.
you are not alone. I know there's a difference between 80 and 60, but I think a lot of people coming onto this. Oh, I knew we loved Lewis. Lewis, when's your birthday? We're the 41 club. Club
Amarette's a
41.
Pisces too.
Oh, I love her. And we got 77, lost 17 pounds, slow and steady. That's really important because the older we get, especially as women, the harder it is to keep our bone and our muscle. So that's
Yes.
so important. Oh, March 7th. Oh, we need to find another pie day. Oh, Candace cracks me up. She cracks me up too because she says things
Me
that sometimes
too.
cross my mind. Um, but I'm too brave to say them to anybody but my best friend. Yay, Pisces. Oh my gosh, we have a lot of Pisces here.
We do. Holy cow.
32 since January. Carb manager. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm supposed to be pulling all these up. How far behind am I? Electrolytes on fasting days. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Do you ever do any fasting? Oh no, it doesn't really work for you because I remember an episode where you said you end up getting hypoglycemia.
Yeah, unfortunately, fasting does not work for me, so I can't do it. Stephanie's a Dr. Pepper lover too. Whoop whoop.
Rachel, I got her hooked on Louis, get back to my channel. I'm just kidding. You went where the conversation's at. Carbohydrates can contribute to water retention. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, am I way behind? Salt on, everyone. Yes, the
There,
saltier, the better.
there's one all the way down towards the bottom, second from the bottom.
Hold on, I got my Coco Locos in here.
A Coca-Cola for you. I'm on Ozempic, 360 pounds, type 2 diabetic. I'm not losing weight. However, my blood sugar is improving. Excellent. Studies show those with diabetes can take longer to lose the weight. Don't give up. Yvette. That's absolutely right, Yvette. And the other thing is, I know that a lot of insurance companies dictate which diabetic medicine you can go with. Some of them only cover Ozempic, some of them only cover Manjaro. So just always keep that in the back of your mind. If you go the Ozempic route and then you reach a point where it's not working for you anymore, you may want to look into your insurance to see if it covers Manjaro. So
I have a friend who was on Ozempic because that's all her insurance covered. She never lost any weight. She got to the bottom of the diabetic range, but still considered diabetic, and she was able to get approval to switch to Zepbound, or is it Zepbound or is it Manjaro? Manjaro,
Manjaro for diabetes.
even though it wasn't covered by her insurance because Ozempic wasn't working.
Mm.
If you experienced fatigue post-injection, did it go away further along your journey? Any tips? Yes. For me, yes.
For me, I get fatigue every time I go up in dose. It usually lasts a few days. And then I'm fine. After I've been on the new dose for a few weeks, the fatigue goes away. And for a long, long time, I did weekly updates on my channel. So and I documented at what point on each dose the fatigue stopped. And the higher up in dose, so I'm on 12.5 right now. Now, guys, okay, we're all right. Sush?
Oh, my dog!
What's happening? What are you saying? What are you saying to everybody? Okay, you're a good girl.
Oh my gosh, I just want to snuggle that puppy.
Somebody
There's
barked
something about just want to
outside.
put it right here.
Are you a good girl? You are a good girl. I know I'm wearing chapstick. Don't lick it. I
So
love
you documented it every time, and how long did it take to go away after you started it?
Yeah. So when I first started out at the lower doses, so 7.5 and lower, it took roughly 3 days after every single injection. And then that lasted for at least 4 weeks. But then around that 4 to 5 week point, right, staying on the same dose, it went away. And then now that I'm at the higher doses with 12.5, I have fatigue for maybe 1 day and then it's gone. And then the next week I had no fatigue. So, and side note, some of the obesity and endocrine specialists say that the fatigue is caused from the medication activating your pancreas. Activate pancreas. Okay.
I definitely had fatigue in the beginning. Like, I really just didn't want to leave bed.
Thank you.
After that, I only went up 0.5 at a time. So I don't recall it ever returning.
Sorry. Somebody was commenting about my scrunchie and my earrings, so I wanted to show you my
why
shirt.
didn't you warn me?
Sorry. Everybody show your shirt. Sorry. It's
You
because I
have
have
no idea.
earrings.
I've got like it's on because we're gonna do this again on Friday, right?
Yes. Yep. I got you on my schedule.
Yeah. If you guys aren't doing anything Friday, come hang out with us.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
Friday,
we
7 p.m. Central. But I will be sure to bring my earrings, and I'm not going to tell you what they are.
oh, okay, I hope they're, like, big meat things. Are they gonna be big meat things?
It's like so obvious, yeah.
Okay, I'm excited.
But this is like, I intended to start a business, but I never did. And so I have like boards of earrings. So every time I go to a meetup, everybody gets free earrings. So I'll just go ahead and put some on now. Um, but let's go on to the next question while I do that.
Oh, okay, sorry, I was so intrigued by your earrings.
Oh, you will
So
be.
and thank you, by the way.
Lady Alex, I'm sorry in advance.
I have to.
Does anybody get excited about shot day? Yes.
Listen, I am addicted to shot day. I'm not gonna lie.
Me
Like,
too. So when they said, "Hey, why don't we take it 2 to 4 times a week?" It was kind of like, you know what? That doesn't sound terrible to me.
right, it's like, "Hey, I could do that. That's good."
It feels like
And
we're making progress almost.
yeah. Well, and for me, I started out with a fear of needles,
Yeah.
and, like, I have a video where I showed people, like, how to do your injection if you're scared of needles, right? And so and I'm like, "Okay, so you put it down, and then you sing a song, and then you push the button," right? That's how I started out. Now, I'm like, "All right, what day is shot day? Can we all right. Man, it's not Friday yet. Okay." I love it.
I can't find
I
my
love it.
hole. Oh, did I find it? No, still looking for it. You want to talk scary? The lady I started working with, she just ordered me glutathione.
Ooh, that's intramuscular, right?
Yeah, and look at these scary beasts. Hold
Yeah.
on, I still can't find my hole. I almost found my hole. Oh, I found my hole. Okay, we got some bacon and eggs going on here.
I'm having to work really hard not to make inappropriate comments here. Trying to keep it PG.
That probably wasn't super sanitary, but like,
It's
how
okay.
scary is this thing?
Yeah, but it's gotta be if you're doing intramuscular. That's why a lot of people get concerned when they're doing injections, right, subcutaneous, and they're like, "Oh, I did it in my thigh or I did it in the back of my arm and it bruised and I felt terrible." And right, trust me, you are not hitting the muscle. That bad boy, that's hitting muscle.
So, I mean, I'm gonna have to like YouTube this, and I know they're not gonna be able to show it to me, but I'm scared. Like, how am I not gonna hit a bone?
Yeah. Well,
Can
I
I
think
use an auto injector pen with this? Because I have one.
I don't I I don't think it's going to get it into the muscle is the only thing. Right? You have like an
I don't think
injector.
I can do it.
Yeah, you can do it. It's totally okay. It's totally think about getting like a flu shot in your arm or the COVID shot or any other shot you can think of, right? They'll do it in the arm, right? That is intramuscular, where your muscle's like a little bit sore afterwards. I think flu shot. Anyway, you can totally do it. It's okay. There'll be YouTube videos that show you how to do it.
You know
Yeah, it's a
what's
scrunchie.
funny
I'm bringing
is
scrunchies
I
back.
thought they were commenting on the fact that the other day I added the purple toner, but then a friend of mine was kind of having an autoimmune flare, and so I was talking them through the autoimmune flare. I totally forgot I had purple in my hair, and if you look up close, like my whole skull is purple right now.
I love that.
So
I used to do all sorts of crazy colors in my hair. It was so much fun.
all these celebrity cameos, are they talking about the downsized?
I don't know.
Let's see
I
here.
mean,
What?
all the cool people are here.
Absolutely. Okay. Why does 10 milligrams seem to have fewer side effects? I like 10 milligrams so far. About 30 more pounds and lose 30 pounds, keep it off. I don't know. I haven't been to 10.
Yeah.
How was 10 for you?
I think that it depends on the person, but for me, once I got higher than 7.5, I started having fewer side effects.
Hmm.
I don't know if it has to do with,
The
receptors being
diabetes.
desensitized or I'm sorry, what?
The diabetes.
Well, it could be, could be. Um, I don't know what causes it, but I have seen quite a few people talking about not having side effects. And then sometimes it'll do like a complete 180, like they get to 15 and all of a sudden, boom, they've got 20 gabillion side effects. Like I've had constipation from like day 2, day 3 of starting this journey up until I got to 12.5. Now it's gone. I'm not doing anything differently. It's
No
just
coffee
magically gone.
enemas?
No, that'll really jack you up. But no, I'm not doing anything differently. I'm still getting the fiber in. I stopped taking the magnesium supplements. So I can't explain it.
Yes, these are bacon earrings, Lewis. Let me
They're
know if you need
fantastic.
me to send. Do you have a wife? I can send her a pair. Um, IV
Eggs and bacon.
infusions with glutathione. And I'm going to be very careful because I've actually had glutathione infusions and they made me sick. So I will be taking it very slow. I
Mm.
struggle with all of the detoxing for real. And so I just have to be very careful. You'll get a kick out of this. I was just taking a shower, having hair loss, putting on the shower wall. And I was just in the shower, no hair loss. So happy.
Great.
Amazing. I think that's great. You really should track it. Um, Allie, may I ask what electrolyte you use that's low in sodium?
So that's a very good question, Bill. I use a couple of different options, and what I do is balance my sodium for the day. So if I use something like zero Gatorade, right, that's got higher sodium, then I'll keep that in mind for my sodium intake for the rest of the day. So I may not necessarily use a specific brand that's lower sodium, although they are out there. I'm currently a shopaholic, so I have a whole bunch that I'm trying to work through. So what I do is I balance the sodium for the day. So if I do an electrolyte, then I'm not going to be having sushi with soy sauce, right? I might opt for a lettuce wrap or something lower in sodium. So, but yeah, Bill, I'll put something together and put together some electrolyte low sodium options.
I will put together some electrolyte high sodium options.
Yes.
Um, hey, this is so sweet. This person played your video while they took their first shot so they wouldn't be alone.
That's fantastic.
This
Who
is
said
why
that? I can't see it.
it is.
Who
Oh,
said
I'm
that?
sorry.
Who
I
said it?
thought I
Who
put
said
it
it?
up. Angel face.
Angel face.
This is
Oh,
why you, the downsized, and on the pen, you guys mean a lot to me because this is very demonized in my community. And then this is the thing. I'm gonna guess vegans are kind of like this too, where you actually make friends. Like you make deep connections with people. We even
yeah.
have meetups. And I didn't want to lose, like some of my meat friends are better friends than some of my local friends.
Right.
You know, I talk to them every day. It's my community, and I didn't want to be kicked out and I didn't want to be judged. And so I didn't say anything for the first 3 months because I wanted to see if it worked. And I wasn't sure. Honestly, I'm a God person. And so I was kind of praying on God, what do I do? And then I
Mm.
was very careful with all my videos to no longer talk about weight loss in videos because for me, the carnivore diet was a horrible weight loss diet.
Yeah.
Very nourishing, great for the brain, reduced symptoms of autoimmune conditions, many, many benefits, but it was not a weight loss diet for me. So you guys were my comfort. And then sometimes I
No.
would like, I would like respond to your videos and then I would delete it.
Oh
And then
no.
eventually
Oh, because
somebody gifted me, this is what happened. Somebody gifted me a subscription to Dave's channel. I think it was the lawyer guy or not lawyer. What is he?
who Lee fits in?
No, there's a name, and he always gives away memberships, like every single live. Ugh.
BJ?
It's like a weird.
BJ.
It's a weird
So
name.
yeah, BJ, Spoonie, there's a bunch of them that are always giving away memberships. I love it.
So he gave me a membership, and then I was like, well, I'm in a secret group now.
Right.
I can
Secret group.
respond. And then that kind of opened the door, and here we are today. And I'm really grateful that people were brave before me, because whether or not you were a keto or a carnivore, it still takes a lot of courage, because it's still demonized. You'll still have family who judges you. You will still have strangers who judge you. You'll still have doctors who judge you, but it's getting better.
Absolutely. And it'll only get better from here. The more we
Hmm.
talk about it, the better off we'll all be.
I might have to get some lidocaine. So I'm feeling really whippy about this. Um, Anybody struggling with injection site reactions, I changed my spot. You go ahead.
Okay, so JM, I'm not sure what type of reaction you're having. Maybe you could let me know. Is if it's like swelling, a welt, itching. One thing that I have seen recommended, and it originally came from a doctor, I am not a doctor, was if you're having any of those three as injection sites issues, to spray Flonase on the site. Okay, so here's the rundown. You do alcohol wipe, then you do the Flonase, then you do your injection, then you do the alcohol wipe. Make sure that none of the medication is touching your skin. So if you're doing an auto injector pen, you know how sometimes like there'll be a little bubble or right a little dot of medication, make sure you get it off your skin, because 9 times out of 10 that's what's causing the reaction. But doing the Flonase helps people. Oh, they said the itch is real.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Ultima might have lower sodium.
Yep. That's one of the ones that I use.
Rachel wants bacon
Rachel,
earrings.
Rachel wants bacon earrings. Bacon
Yay.
pancake. Making bacon pancake.
Yeah, another person, less side effects at 10, and the room temperature. Oh,
Ooh,
nice. Naomi just got a
yummies.
brisket. That sounds amazing.
We just smoked a chicken on Friday. So good.
Sue the dude. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Sue the dude gave me.
I knew Hannah would or Anna would know.
And then this is
Sorry.
how Lewis and I became friends, because he saw me in a chat on a carnivore channel and on the downsized. And then I think, was it Courtney Luna said, hey, a friend of mine is taking this or something like that. And he was like, oh, it's her.
A
Do you
secret
know
is
who
out.
Courtney Luna is?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I've seen a ton of videos.
Why the issues when using a thin needle? I don't know. And thank you, Kelly. Thank you. If you guys could all please go to each of our channels and subscribe, that would be amazing. It would also be
Yes.
amazing if you could please like our videos so they go out. And I know we've been talking forever, but you guys just keep chatting. You're awesome. I can't
Yeah.
believe it. We still have 131 people here. For me, I probably, like, I was having, every time I injected in my leg, down the leg from where I was doing the injection, I got like a big red bumpy hive that was itchy, and it didn't go away. It like stayed around for like a week or so. And so I
Yeah.
just stopped injecting my legs, because my legs just must be a sensitive area. I don't know. I've never had that on my stomach, and I've never had it on my arm. But that's
Um,
amazing that you have an idea for it.
the other thing I will say about injecting subcutaneous for the leg is as you lose weight, it may become a spot that you can no longer use. There's always going to be enough fat there, right? It's an approved location, but for comfort's sake, it may not be an ideal location based off of your body type. So for me, I hold a lot of my weight in the middle, right? Very apple shaped. So that's where all the juicy fat is. And so I do a lot of my injections in that middle area now, because if I do them in the thigh, then I end up having challenges. So you may want to consider that, there may be a different site that's better for you.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
So, Sandy, are you talking about the auto injector pen? Like if you're on name brand, Manjaro, Zepbound, Ozempic, Wegovy?
Oh, because you can't see.
Yeah. So the reason why they say to push the button and hold down is because you can't see it injecting. And I talk about this in one of my videos. So counting, to 10, which is ideal, keeps people from making the mistake of pulling the pen away too soon and it's not done injecting, especially at higher doses. So when you're on 2.5, 5, 7.5, it's not that much liquid that's injecting. So it goes relatively quickly. But as you get up in dose, if you don't listen for that second click or you're not counting, you may pull away too quickly and then your precious medication is all over you, all over the floor. There are a lot of people that make those comments in the support groups. So if you're doing an injection with an insulin needle, right, you can see what's going on. So it's a lot easier to do.
Amazing. I'm actually shocked that I haven't had more issues being I'm so sensitive. The first
Mhm.
shot I took, um, like I have a lot of trauma from reacting to things. Like I was taking a very popular name brand of electrolytes and I would be driving down the road and drinking them and my arms and legs would go numb while I'm driving. So even something as an electrolyte I can react to. There's been many times too when I'm out to eat and something would have something that I've eaten many times, like shrimp in it. I eat shrimp all the time. But the shrimp at that restaurant, I started getting hives and my throat started closing. So my
Oh,
very first shot, uh, like 5 hours after my shot, my heart started racing and I couldn't breathe and I couldn't get it to go away and I didn't sleep all night. Never had that ever since. That was 7 months ago. Not one other shot. So I think it was just me.
interesting.
Have you ever heard of this before? Like the
Mhm.
first night having like a really, like having panic attack level and a panic attack that won't go away. I'm pretty sure it's me panicking because it was the first time I'd ever injecting anything I couldn't undo. If you
Right,
there's so many other things you could take. Like, let's say I eat something that gives me a reaction, it's going to move through my digestive system. It's just a
yes,
matter. But to take a shot and know this could affect me for 14 days, I mean, most likely two, right?
right, right.
Um, I did struggle with that at first. Um, the Wegovy, 2 clicks before it stops.
Thank
And
you,
then
Sandra, for that, because I'm not as familiar with the Ozempic and Wegovy pens.
Lady Alex is wonderful.
Yes.
She's amazing. Well, before we get too many more comments, we should probably end it here because I got to put my babes to bed. But if
Yes.
you guys would like to come back, if you guys love this, please comment below. If you have any questions for our next one, please feel free to give them to us.
We got we
And
got we got one more
oh,
question. One more.
oops, wrong
AR,
one.
this name. You guys with these names, you're killing me. AR Puffin stuff. Okay, did you find that now you're no longer turning to food for emotional reasons? You're having trouble. I think it got cut off there. So for me, yes, I no longer turn to food for emotional reasons. Flip side, now I have a shopping addiction, transfer addiction. So, but I've got that on my list of things for us to talk about on Friday. So definitely make sure you come to the Friday show. But yeah, dealing with emotions in general, I used to solely rely on food. If I could talk, that would be great. But now it's I don't need it as a crutch. I sit in my feelings and I'm like, okay, what's going on? We're stressed out. We're sad. We're mad. We're irritated because the coworker's not doing a good job and you're having to pick up the slack, right? I sit with the feelings and I'm like, okay, how do we work through this? Well, I need to take a break from work. I'm going to go outside and play with the dogs for a minute. And then Kevin will run at me full speed and gut punch me. I just posted a video of that earlier in the Facebook group, and it gets me laughing and it gets me out of it. So, finding alternatives to relying on food for comfort has been a huge part of my journey.
This one means a lot to me because part of when you go carnivore and you cut all carbohydrates, you get a very similar feeling as taking Ozempic for a minute. You get a very quiet brain. You're very full for like the first time. You have a lot of satiation. You find yourself, it's easier to eat meals. This is specific for men. Men will all of a sudden just eat one meal a day, where before they were just, they could never get full. But they go carnivore and they can now eat one meal a day. And so I had that, but then it faded. And my friends who've been carnivore longer said, I still struggle with all these things. And I'm like, I don't, I'm cured. Give it time. For some people, that food noise does come back despite cutting sweet, despite cutting all caffeine, despite cutting coffee, despite eating nothing but meat, salt, and water. The noise still comes back. And I tried everything, including lion diet, to make it go away. And I would get like glimpses of that quiet again, but it would just like come back. So I was part of a group of all of us trying to control this food noise, which we called addiction, if that makes sense to people. Because you just, when you eat certain things, the food noise starts screaming at you. And so you're like, oh, this must be me being an addict because I can't stop it. And I just can't, now I see it as like improper signaling. That's how I see it now. And so a friend of mine who was part of that group said, does this really help with that? I mean, like an absolute, like their heart was like, does this really help with that? So I just sit back and think, and it really does. Like when something horrible happens, like a friend of mine lost a kid this week, it didn't even cross my mind to go sit and eat. It crossed my mind, I need to call someone. It crossed my mind, I need to talk to someone. It crossed my mind, I need to go help someone or dive into something else because this sucks and it doesn't feel good. But never did it cross my mind to sit and eat. It didn't cross my mind to sit and eat. And so it absolutely does help with that. And that is probably the number one thing I feel so grateful for. I quit drinking 12 years ago ish, 11, 12 years ago. And so I associated abstinence with it going away. And that's just not how food works when your signaling is off. And
Right.
so I tried and tried and tried to abstain, but like you can't, you got to eat. So
Right.
anyway, I'm so grateful for this because it truly just makes it appropriate. Like I eat plenty of food
Mhm.
and it just makes it appropriate. So let's see. Did we miss any more? Because of course we start chatting and then everybody's got more great stuff. Thanks
Yeah.
for this meetup. Great topic. Have a great Friday. See you Friday. Everybody smash that like button. Great show. Loved it. See you Friday. I'm part of this channel called The Lioness Lifestyle Live. At the end, we roar. So me and you will have to come up with something. I don't know what. Definitely not a roar. Um,
Yeah,
let's
if
see. I'm gonna.
everybody when you come out of the live, definitely hit that like button. We would super appreciate it. And I love all of the questions and comments. And one thing that I have to say about both Adrian's subscribers and mine is that I don't know how we got so lucky to have all the really fantastic people that are our subscribers, because like I have been watching people helping one another in the comments while we're talking. And I love that. I love when people can get connected and find someone else that can provide them with support. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being awesome people. It's really phenomenal. I know we didn't get to highlight every single comment, but we see you. We see you, and we see you doing good things. And I love you for that.
And I feel so fortunate.
Love you.
Yes, I love you guys. Okay, with that, we will say good night. All right, we'll see you guys Friday. Bye.
Bye. Hit that like button.
We need an outro.